If you were to hear the name Hannibal the Cannibal, you would be forgiven for thinking of the fictional character Dr. Hannibal Lecter, created by the author Thomas Harris. The character was a cannibalistic serial killer, disguised as a respected forensic psychiatrist. There's nothing more terrifying than such a creature living in plain sight. Surely such horrors can only exist in horror stories, or perhaps Liverpool. Robert Maudsley was born in Toxteth, Liverpool, on the 26th of June 1953. He was one of 12 children, but spent his early years of life in a Catholic orphanage in Crosby from around the age of 2. He was retrieved by his parents at the age of 8, along with 3 of his siblings. From here on until the age of 16, he suffered from routine abuse, claiming himself that he was raped as a child and repeatedly beaten with rods and sticks. The sheer brutality he underwent led him to move into London at the age of 16, where he went on to develop a drug habit and resort to becoming a rent boy to pay for his growing debt. During this period, he had many visits to hospitals for suicide attempts and apparent violent voices telling him to kill his parents. Robert's mental state continued to deteriorate, and eventually he snapped and took his first victim on the 14th of March 1974. Age 20, Robert murdered 30-year-old John Ferrell. John picked up Robert to acquire over services of a rent boy. Robert reportedly went into a blind rage and strangled John to death after John revealed nude photos of children that he had on his person. Robert Maudsley was sent to Broadmoor Hospital after being declared unfit to stand trial. Prosecutors would later regret this decision, however, as 3 years later, on the 26th of February 1977, he took the life of David Francis, a convicted molester at age 26. Robert, along with another inmate, tortured David for 9 hours in a barricaded cell and eventually strangled him. After this inhumane crime, Maudsley was convicted of manslaughter and sent to Wakefield prison, the home to many famous criminals, such as Charles Bronson. Robert's thirst for blood didn't stop there. On the afternoon of the 29th of July, 1978, he went on to take the life of 2 men in prison, those being 46-year-old Salney Darwood and 56-year-old William Roberts. Salney was stabbed to death and hidden under the bed of Roberts so that he could continue with his famous planned rampage. Robert's 4th and final murder would be his most famous. Robert hacked at the skull of William Roberts with a sharpened spoon and smashed his head into the prison cell wall, leaving the spoon impeached in his head. The murder left many suspecting that Robert had eaten a chunk of William Roberts' brain. Although he denied this caused a shockwave in the media, naming Robert names such as the Brain Eater, or famously, Hannibal the Cannibal. Maudsley had planned to kill 7 men that day, but after the bloody mess of the second one, he calmly walked into the prison officer's room, placed his dagger on the table, and told the officer at the next roll call there will be 2 prisoners short. In 1983, Robert Maudsley was deemed too dangerous to be kept in a normal cell. It was decided that he would be kept in a glass cage, resembling that of Hannibal Lecter's in the famous film The Silence of the Lambs. Inside of the cage, Robert's only furnishings are that of a table and chair made of cardboard and a solid concrete slab for a bed. To this day, he remains in solitary confinement, where he is only allowed to leave his cell for 1 hour a day, and he must be escorted by 6 guards. Robert will spend the remainder of his life in these conditions after being denied several appeals to relax his treatment. Robert's victims all resemble those of his former abusers. His troubled and tortured mind led to a life of violence and crime. Robert has stated himself, "I am left to stagnate and regress. Are we not all products of our environment?" Their solution to that problem to date has been in effect to bury me alive, the cage ultimately for them being my concrete coffin. But is that the final solution? I feel that all I have to look forward to is indeed psychological breakdown, mental illness, and indeed probable suicide.